swala la kwanza ni kwamba yalisemwa bila ijibati yoyote kwamba kanisa la Evangelist Ezekiel limefungwa, na katika harakati hizo serikali ya polisi imejaribu juu chini kuweza kutekeleza maagizo yaliyosomwa na regional commissioner, ambapo jana walikuja na kujaribu kuzuia lango la kuingia kwenye ile kanisa ambapo kuna vitu vingi vya ambavyo vinaendelea pale. Swala ambalo tumeuliza katika ile mahakama ni kwamba ufungaji wa kanisa ni jambo ambalo linafuatwa kisheria. Lazima kutolewe ilani, notice. Lazima wale ambao ile kanisa ije ijitetee, ipatikane na hatia, kisha iweze kufungwa. Katika yale masuala tuliyoyaleta, wale ambao tumewaweka kama parties katika hii kesi, tumeweka maofisi zote za serikali. Tumeweka ofisi zote za serikali na zile njia zozote za kidini. Tumeingiza wale SUPKEM pale ndani. Kawaida kufungwa wakati ambapo kuna mzozano kati ya waumini ama uongozi wa ile kanisa, hivi kwamba kuna hali ya hatari, wale wafuasi, kundi moja liko pande hili na kundi lingine liko pale. Kanisa la Ezekiel hayo hayapo. Kwa hivyo tumekuja hapa tupate ilani iliyowekwa kidole na Chief, Assistant Chief, Inspector General Police ama ule ambaye anaitwa Cabinet Secretary ama ofisi yoyote ya serikali iliyofunga ile. Swala la pili ambalo limetuleta hapa ni swala pia la uhifadhi zile accounts ambazo ziko pale. Kumbuka kwamba zile account za church ziko kwenye majina ya kanisa. Zile sio account utafungwa kwa sababu zile account ni sadaka za watu wanazozituma pale ili zifanyie kanisa huduma. Huduma zile ni kulipia watoto karo, kununulia watu chakula, kuwalipa wafanyikazi wanaofanya katika ile kanisa, kutumia kutengeneza crusade na kadhalika. Kwa jana niliandikia Inspector General barua nikamwambia, wewe tutakushtaki kama in person. Ile sadaka, ile jina la kanisa linaharibiwa, hasa jina la kanisa. Ile defamation ya kusema kwamba Pastor Ezekiel ni muuaji, kanisa lake limefungwa, nyumba yake imefungwa, hiyo tunasema kwa siku moja inagharimu shilingi milioni 20. Kwa hivyo tunataka vyombo vya habari navyo vikuwe sensitive, viache kuharibu jina safi la Pastor Ezekiel. Wamuona bana ule jamaa hata kiatu cheupe hamna chochote. Basi waambie pia wale watu wenye communication authority, watu Attorney General, wawapatie, nyinyi ndio wenye habari, barua yoyote ya kufunga hiyo. Hamna, ama pengine washawapatia. Kama wamewapatia lakini hayawi huwa watakuwa hapa mwendo wa saa 6.
Wakili, nina swali. Nimesema Pastor Ezekiel amewatuma kama kuna mtu ako na ushahidi kama kuna maafa yalifanyika kule kanisani. Na the last time akiachiliwa, koti ilisema asiongee kuhusu ishu ya Shakahola. Huoni kama italeta utatanishi?
Sio yeye anaongea. Sisi tunajaribu kuambia watu kwamba complainant aende kwenye kituo cha polisi akaelezea. Complainant yeyote taifa zima achukua butu rungu, akapiga kichwa, akaua, kisha akazika pale Shakahola. Hakuna hata mmoja wa wafuasi wa Ezekiel ama mtu yeyote katika taifa la Kenya ambaye anasema kwamba mimi natoa statement ya kusema kwamba Ezekiel nimemwona akiua, Ezekiel nimemwona akizika, Ezekiel nimemwona akitoa maiti, Ezekiel nimemwona na makaburi kule kwenye kanisa lake ama kule Shakahola. Kwa hivyo ujumbe wetu kama mawakili ni kwamba tunawarai wa Kenya wote, yote anamwekea shtaka ama yeyote ambaye ana statement ya kuandika aende katika vituo na ambiwa kwamba karibu kuna 5000 police stations katika taifa la Kenya. Wewe nenda pale, andikisha statement ya kutoa ushahidi kwamba unajua na umemuona Pastor Ezekiel akishiriki katika kesi ya mauaji ama kuzika mtu. Isiwe ni polisi peke yao wanajaribu kutafuta, sababu complainant awe lazima awe pale. Asanteni, basi tutangojea mahakamani, tuendelee mwendo wa saa 6.
You said how many amount of people made in one month?
Hili jambo litafanyika kwa njia zile za Zoom. Tukaambia mahakama hapa kwamba hili ni jambo tata, jambo linalofuatiliwa na ulimwengu mzima. Kwa hivyo lazima lifanyike kulingana na kipengele cha 49 na cha 50 cha katiba, in open court. Watu wasikize, kama kuna ushahidi wowote ambao unamlinganisha Pastor Ezekiel na mauaji, ashtakiwe na afungwe. Kama kuna sheria ya kumchinja, mchinji. Lakini kama hakuna yule ambaye ana ushahidi, basi Ezekiel aachiliwe. Kwa hivyo ndio maana tumesema kwamba sisi tutakuja mbele ya mahakama iliyo wazi, mwenye ushahidi. Na leo hii Ezekiel ametutuma akatuambia, wewe kama ni mtu ambaye una ushahidi ya kusema kwamba ameua mtu, amefanya hili jambo mbaya, nenda kwenye chombo chochote cha habari ukatangaza, nenda kwenye kituo chochote cha polisi taifa zima ukaeleza kwamba mimi namjua, nilimbeba ule ambaye ni shemeji yangu akafika pale. Ezekiel anadhulumiwa, kanisa la kidini dini ya Kikristo linadhulumiwa. Mwisho wa tamati haya ni yapo. Jaribu kumuuzisha Ezekiel na Shakahola hakuwezi shika. Kila Mkenya tumechukua vyombo vyote vya habari kule kwenye kanisa la Ezekiel na limefunguliwa tambarare. Kila mtu ameona yanayoendelea pale. Haya makaburi yako hapo. Mbona serikali haijatangaza kule kama eneo ambalo limewekwa kama disturbed region? Hata leo hawajaweka kwenye gazeti. Hata leo hawajaitangaza kama kanisa na compound ya Ezekiel ni mahali ambapo ni mahali pa crime scene. Kuna taratibu za kufuata pale. Kwa hivyo sisi mawakili tumekuja huku kupigania haki za kanisa la Kikristo ambalo limedunishwa. Na la mwisho nitawaambia wale wafuasi ambao wanafuatilia katika vyombo vya habari katika taifa hili na mataifa ya ng'ambo kwamba mahakama ya Kenya tuna imani nayo, na ile mahakama itasikiza. Iwapo wataleta sababu za kutosha, sisi hatuna shida ule client wetu kudadisiwa, kuulizwa maswali, na tukitoka hapa kulingana na maamuzi ya koti la Shanzu tunamchukua kishule. Wanahitaji karo, ili kwamba tunashangaa kama serikali kweli inajua maana ya kujaribu kufunga akaunti za kanisa. Haijawahi onekana, na leo ndio mara ya kwanza. Tunataka waje kotini watueleze kama wao wanataka watu wafe, wale ambao wanategemea chakula. Kumbuka bado tuna zogo la chakula. Pastor Ezekiel alichukua chakula kule Kilifi ambacho kilikuwa zaidi ya milioni 50. Alichukua chakula kulisha watu pale Turkana, chakula cha zaidi ya shilingi milioni 50. Wale wanaomtegemea wanaambiwa leo death sentence, nenda mkafa. Tunataka kuuliza mahakama itueleze kwamba ni haki kufanya kitendo ambacho kitaua watu, mamilioni ya watu. Wafuasi wa Ezekiel wamezidi zaidi ya milioni 5. Wewe wafunga kanisa leo wataka waende wapi? Sababu ukifunga kanisa lile, basi utakuwa unawaambia nenda kanisa la Cliff-Ombeta, sababu lazima wale wapate malisho ama chakula cha kiroho kutoka kanisa la Ezekiel. Serikali haijatoa mbadala watakapokwenda wapi.
That Pastor Ezekiel or the church has done him any wrong. Nobody has come to say that Pastor Ezekiel has murdered any of their persons. Nobody has come forward to say that he has starved anybody. Nobody has come forward to say that he has denied them education. Nobody has come to say that he has radicalized them in any way. Nobody has come to say that he has laundered money through them or that they have laundered money through him. Nobody has come to say that the children who they said are supposed to have been serving cruelty have not come forward. So what we are saying is this. This is not Pastor Ezekiel's speech. But he is wondering, and we are wondering, because these investigations are going on a blank note. Come forward if you have a complaint. Make a statement, or if you have information that can lead towards such a situation, come forward and make it. It is not an interference in any way, but we are trying to encourage and help the police to do this even faster because they are sleeping on the job, let me say it. So you cannot stop those people, and when they come in thousands, remember how many fundamental rights you are breaking or you are trampling on. They are in thousands. By one mouth only that we are closing the church. By one mouth only that we are going to close the accounts. By one mouth only that you say you have closed the station. It cannot be business as usual. And you expect people to keep quiet? You expect people not to complain or say anything about it? People will do so because they have those rights. Today we are in court, and for that particular purpose, we are inviting all those people that we have invited to come to this case to come and answer. And as you can see, some of them are still hiding. They are not coming out of the woodwork. They are still hiding. Only one or two people are trying to respond. And once the court notices this, that these people are still darking, with sufficient service, with sufficient time, the court must act, because these rights do not belong to a state. They belong to an individual. When you come to a church and close it down, and you come to a premises and close it down, without going through the court, then that is an excess. It's an illegality. It is a problem. So when this happens and we find that these excesses are there and we go to court with our fundamental rights like we are doing now today, we come to this arena and the arbiter is the court. So for whatever they have done, we stop. For whatever they have not done, we prevent. For whatever they intend to do, we warn. We are in court today to ensure that the church, allegedly closed by word of mouth, is not closed. So when you have a county commissioner coming and saying that we have closed the church, believe me, that mouth is not a padlock, as I was saying. You don't close the church by word of mouth. You go to court because you know it affects people who come to pray, who come to congregate, who come to meet, who come to worship, who come to learn and to receive the word of God also. When you are under siege or when you are under an attack, that sometimes is unwarranted. I want us to first of all understand that what the police and the investigative teams and all these other administrative officers have are not fundamental rights. For them, those are powers that are given to them under the Constitution. Once they have those powers, they are supposed to act within them. They are supposed to be governed by them. It is a cage, and the lion must sprawl within that cage. Once this lion tries to breach the premises that it's supposed to be contained in, it is when they now interfere with what you call the rights of an individual, which are given under Article 19. Once you have these rights under Article 19, and all these other officers, including the investigating officers, the administration officers, the ministers, everybody, including the president, once they recognize these rights that come in under, as from Article 19 onwards, They go by Article 20, whereby the court would always want to grant these powers, these rights. And Article 21, anybody else of the people I've mentioned are supposed to recognize these rights and respect them. These fundamental rights are not given for the sake of being given.
And mine will be brief, as much has been shared by my colleague, Senior Shadrach Wambui. However, you all recall that a few weeks ago, this country, this beloved country, Kenya, received shocking news where several people had been heinously either murdered or induced to death in now the so-called Shakahola massacre. And soon, shortly, as things began to unravel, we saw a spurious, coordinated mechanism to divert the attention of this country from the protagonist of Shakahola massacre. And the attention was diverted to one Pastor Ezekiel Ombok. And members of the media, you will bear me witness that the attention has heavily shifted from the main suspects of Shakahola massacre to one Ezekiel Ombok, whose church is actually 200 kilometers away from the scene of crime, that has actually been gazetted by the state as a scene of crime, whereas New Life Prayer Center in church has not been gazetted. Not only brings tension, but acts to prevent and restrain members of the public from accessing New Life Prayer Center and church and to commune with their God. So this is a coordinated attempt.
Because they have not put it against that, because they wanted to bring him under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, of which they abandoned. Now they have gone to the bank account. Remember, closure of the church was not by any order, on legal order, on legal document. It was by word of mouth. We have not reached there as a country. For those few remarks, I give it to my colleague, Mr. Paul.
Yes, good morning. My name is Brian Okoko, an advocate, as part of the legal team that is representing Pastor Ezekiel Ombok in these proceedings.
Told anything, but again, he's supposed to appear before the DCI. Today we want the court, and because the court has the powers to arrest such injustices, it is now our turn in court to show them that, or even pray that kindly leave pastor alone, leave the church alone. Remember, pastor does not run the church. The church belongs to a trust. The proceeds of the church, even the offerings, they are supporting poor children going to school. They are supporting even sick people. Where are they going? Where is the place of the church in the Republic of Kenya as we start persecuting pastors in the name of national security? We are in court to show the world or prove that what's going on is a persecution, not a prosecution, of a peace-loving Kenyan and a man of God. By the replying affidavit to our application, that now I know you have it. They are trying to say they have not closed down the church. But yesterday's events, and I'm aware you were there, you saw the police that had barricaded the main entrance to the compound, not even the churches. The compound that hosts the living house of the pastor, the compound that hosts an international school, the compound that hosts hotels, the compound that hosts even other industrial works that are going on. From the brief introduction you've had today in the morning, you've heard the state say that they do not have any proceedings brought by New Life Prayer and Church Center. It is a proceeding brought by Ezekiel. They are trying to separate Ezekiel from the church. But if then the sins or any other offenses committed by Ezekiel, then they should leave the church alone. They should not close the church. Let them bring individual offenses against or charges against Pastor Ezekiel so that it can be justified.
The New Life Prayer Center and Church Ministries. This is by way of freezing its bank accounts, and secondly, by way of stopping the ongoing constructions of accommodation centers, modern day international school and a university at that facility. So it is on the happenings of the 27th day of April 2023 that the application which comes up for hearing today in the afternoon was provoked. So the good Reverend has given us instructions to seek the assistance of the court, because there has been a clear attempt of some extrajudicial, extra-constitutional means that have been adopted by the state to frustrate him, to frustrate his ministry, and to ensure that they put him in disrepute. So for that reason, we have approached the court and a very urgent application. We seek the assistance of the court that if indeed the Constitution operates under the presumptions of innocence until the guilt is proven, if indeed there are constitutional promises that are given to all regardless of how, how we view or perceive them, if at all these constitutional promises are to be enjoyed by Pastor Ezekiel, keen on ensuring that people who enjoy a common purpose or goal, the goal to worship the Creator, God, these people are not stopped from doing what they are supposed to be doing. So that is what we will be doing in the afternoon. I think on my part I have said much, and we shall be persuading the court. So I will be urging members of the public who believe in God, who believe in the current constitutional dispensation that we are in, to continue praying for the law, to continue praying for the church. We are in times where we need the courts to be gallant. We need the courts to be very brave in what they are doing. If Paul Mackenzie has done what he did, he should be taken personally responsible and accountable for his actions. It does not serve any legal or legitimate purpose for the state to mix issues, to twin the good Pastor Ezekiel because of a failed commercial transaction with the woes and the misfortunes of Mr. Paul Mackenzie. So Mr. Paul Mackenzie should be viewed from the lens of the ills that he has done or is being investigated to have done, while Pastor Ezekiel should also be given the same benefit of doubt, given the advantage of enjoying the constitutional promises that are promised to him and to his flock. Thirdly, the Constitution or the current constitutional dispensation that we live in perceives of a situation where even persons who are accused of anything, before any adverse action is taken against them, a notice must be issued to them so that they can be well advised that in the few days, in the next 7 or 14 days, we are going to suspend your station, or we are going to suspend the operations of the World Evangelism television station for your failure to comply with 1, 2, 3, or 4 items. So, if that notice is not given, however guilt or however at fault our client may seem to be, then that action of suspending the operations of the television station that is operated by the church is in itself unconstitutional and illegal. So we have very firm instructions from our client that we proceed to court, which we'll be doing at noon, to call the state for what it has been. The state has become a law unto itself. The state is keen on frustrating the church. The law has created the courts as the last bastions of hope for the pastor and his flock, so that they can get some reprieve or reliefs from the court, and to ensure that his ministry is not stopped. We have instructions to persuade the court that, number one, this concerted effort by the state to frustrate the spread of the ministry, to frustrate the smooth flow and operation of the church, should be stopped. The court should, at the very least, tell the state that while you are conducting your investigations, which we have no problem whatsoever, all of you will recall that on the 4th day of May 2023, the pastor was released through the orders of the court to continue with his life as the state continues with his investigations. The court did not at any given point perceive of a situation where, pending the investigations, the church or the ministry will be closed. Secondly, the court did not perceive of a situation that, pending the investigations, which we have allowed them to proceed, that the bank accounts which are being operated by the church, which accounts continue to aid the church in its projects, that is the constructions of the accommodation centers for the flock, for the church members who flock that ministry,